Hey bro, how you doing? Okay, this is Sam, and we're going to go over sharpening. So directly in front of me, I have one of my models, Rosie, that I just shot. And of course, when we zoom in just a little bit, we can see that because I shot this wide open, um, it's soft. I shot this with my 50 to 300, and I believe at 85 mil. So let's take a look here. Okay, so this is shot 1/200th of a second, f7.1, ISO 100, 300 millimeters. Okay, so I actually shot this at 300 millimeters. I don't know why I was thinking I shot at 85, but I shot this at 300. I was pretty far away. All right, but as a result, because I was far away, as you can see, it's fairly soft. Now, that's with the fact that, if I scroll down here, I've already done some pre-sharpening, okay? So, if you remember in the last conversation, that we had, I told you that in Lightroom, I already do some pre-sharpening if I see that it's soft already. It doesn't mean pre-sharpen all of your images, but when you're shooting wide open, if you're shooting at f1.4, 1.6, 1.8, in my case, even though I shot it at f7.1, it's f7.1 300 millimeters. It's going to be soft, okay? So when you run into this situation, and keep in mind, my 55 to 300 goes between 4.5 and 5.6, and the SAM just is the kind of lens that it is. But as you can see, like I said, before, even though I've already done some pre-sharpening, it's still soft. In Lightroom, I would not go any farther than this. I may just, for this image, kind of adjust the vignette just a little teeny bit. Because this video is not really focused on, what my general workflow is, I'm going to ignore, tonal changes and, that kind of thing. All right. So let's go ahead and just jump right into Photoshop. So I'm going to go to Edit in Adobe Photoshop. So, as we jump into Photoshop, one of the first things that you are going to do is your general edit, okay? In this particular case, that there really isn't much that I want to do with this. Right now, I'm using the healing tool, but I don't use the spot healing tool. I'm old school. I like the original healing brush tool. I just select an area that's clear, and I kind of remove distractions. I'm not trying to get rid of every little thing that I see. I am literally just simply trying to get rid of things that are distracting to me. So that way I can ensure that my images always look very realistic. There are some situations that you might run into where they might have a birthmark or a beauty mark or something like that that you might not want to remove, but that's kind of a personal choice. But before you do your sharpening, you want to go ahead and check the skin and remove any blemishes or anything like that that you see. So the next thing that we're going to do now that we've done this, okay, is I want to pull her face, you know, completely up to fill the screen so that I can see just exactly what's being done. In this particular case, I'm probably at around 51% on my screen. This is a 4K monitor, so it's about 50%, which puts me at around 11,000 by something. Let's see. So we're going to go to Filter, Sharpen, Shake Reduction. Okay. Alright, now you see this little box right here? This little box is your friend. If you tap anywhere on the screen, you'll add another box. Okay, so we don't want to do that. It's already looking to see where there's been movement on the screen, and it's correcting for that already. So if I kind of just zoom in here a little bit, you can see that it's already really cleaned up this area where the hand is. I'm just going to zoom out. Control 0. Alright, I'm going to add another box here. Let's move that out the way. And we're going to add another box here. And basically what we're doing is we're just hitting the spaces where there is movement. Okay, and as you can see over here, it's clearing up it's lining up pixels that have moved from, say, one direction, point A to point B, and it's just pulling them together and putting them in the same spot. So now we have this really clean image, and I'm just going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see. And you know, it's rendering a fine preview. I already know it's fine, so we're not going to stay on this. I'm already happy with the result, so I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Alright, so it's telling me that a blur trace estimation is in progress, but I'm already happy with it, so it's okay. I'm just going to say go ahead and hit yes. Alright, so it's applying the shake reduction with two blur traces. One where her hand blurred and the other where her face blurred. Now the reason why you want to do this at this point in the workflow is because after this is your frequency separation, which is going to soften the skin again. Alright, so you don't want to do this after your frequency separation. You want to do it before so that you maintain your detail after your frequency separation is done. So as you can see, now it's really, really clean. Just like that. Magic. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do a quick frequency separation. I already have my frequency separation automated, so I'm not going to go into how to do the frequency separation in this video. Frequency separation just deserves a video just all by itself. But basically, you know, I have a blur layer, a detail layer, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to decide on my blur layer just exactly how much detail I want to maintain. Alright, so basically I just want to move this up until I get to a point where I see an even distribution across her skin. Okay, an even distribution of the tone across her skin. In this particular case, for this specific photo, that number is 8. There is no rule or guide for what that number should be, because depending on what the bit depth of the image is, what the quality of the image is, whether it's a TIFF or a RAW or a JPEG, this number can change. Typically, when working with lower quality images, this number will absolutely be lower than what it is we're working with right now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and I'm going to switch to, I'm going to make my detail layer visible again and continue to work on my blur layer now that I have decided how much of my detail I want to keep. Alright, so let's go to my lasso tool, and I'm just going to do this really quickly. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just, I do it in pieces. Make sure that when you're using your lasso tool, you have a good feather, because you don't want any edges. So make sure that you have a good feather. And again, this feather number will change based on the image that you're editing at the time. Actually, I'm going to go from 15 to 10 and do this over. Yeah, okay. All right. And then after I draw out my little line, I'm going to go back to blur, Gaussian blur, and go from 8. I'm going to double it and add 2. Okay, so that's 16, 17, 18. And now I have a nice, even distributed tone across her forehead. Now, this is kind of overkill, but I want to be able to see what it is, the effect is, so that after I'm done, I can go ahead and go to frequency separation, to the opacity for the frequency separation overall, and turn it down to about 70%. But what that percentage is really going to determine just exactly what the style for this image is going to look like. You want it a little more realistic, you will probably go around 65-75%. You want it more stylized and that super smooth thing, you can go from 70% all the way up to leaving it at 100%. It just really depends on you. As me, I tend to lean in the direction of perfectly imperfect, so that I maintain some level of realism. One thing that I want to point out that just happened here, so let's back up just a little bit. Okay, so when you have hard edges, hard contrasting edges, and you're doing your frequency separation, you might want to stop at that edge, because the thing is that when you don't, it will create a ghost on the skin that will be visible at that edge. It's not necessary to go ahead and do frequency separation in this area anyway, because there's just not enough detail there. It's all blacks. And the same thing for the hands. I tend not to do the open palm of a hand or go out past the knuckles on a hand unless it really looks like it needs a more even distribution. So this looks great, but it's too much. It's too stylized for me. So I'm going to go to the opacity and I'm going to turn that down to 70%. And that looks wonderful to me. So let's go ahead and flatten this and save it. Alright, so now that I've saved this, let's give it a second. When I close it, we'll move back over into Lightroom, and then we can do a direct comparison. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the before and after. Let's move myself out of the way a little bit. All right, and let's remove information so that we can kind of see this a little better. All right, and there you have it. Okay, so as you can see, this is the before, this is the after. It's a nice, clean, sharp, tack sharp look. Where this here, let's go down a little bit. It's about, oh, the reference image is, okay, there we go. So look how sharp our edited image is in comparison to how soft our original is. Look at, you can see the detail in the glasses. Look here, you know, and you still, after you've done your frequency separation, you have this perfect image. So that's pretty much it, bro. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just give me a call at your leisure. Until next time. Peace.